My name's Steve and welcome to the Seaside Allotment channel, but we're in the garden today and we're harvesting the last of the potatoes, and I've been kind of umming and ahhing about whether to grow potatoes in pots or whether to grow them in the ground. So these are the last two pots. Let's see if they change my mind. I did 4 pots in the garden and I initially just stuck them here just behind the garage, and then I can move them over here a little bit to get a little bit more sun. But actually the ideal place is on the patio down there where those pots are. Get much more sun there. So these were planted late, they didn't get much sun, but they are in big pots, 50 litre pots I think, which makes them a bit hard to tip out but easy to dig out. And I'll show you what I mean. So basically, as you dig through, here they come, and it's really easy just to go through and dig them out. So I'm going to keep doing this and then we'll come back, see what we get. First pot done, and I've got to say I'm pleased. The first plot I think I got 12 pounds out, second one I got 15 pounds out, and I'm doing the third and the fourth today. And the first two were in the shade for longer than the last two, so as I'm going through them, basically each one gets a bit more sun, so we'll see what the third one got. So that's the haul. Doesn't look very impressive at the moment, but these are big pots, so it's a bit deceiving. Let's weigh it and see. Right, oh, there we go. Pretty hard to carry, but it's 14 pounds, so that is not too bad. And you take a look at the carrier bag, and that carrier bag is pretty full. So there you go. And what I like about this haul from these pots is potatoes are nice and clean, and there's a really nice mix of sizes. There's probably 30% bakers, and then there's this sort of size, which is a really nice size, and then there's a few small ones as well, but not too many small ones, but just a really nice mix. And since these are pretty multi-purpose Salpomiras, yeah, that's nice. And yeah, so I'm kind of moving in the direction of switching to pots, I think. Okay, let's take a look at the second pot. Okay, let's take a look at this. Oh god, this is heavy. Oh, 16 pounds. Oh, my goodness. 16 pounds out of potatoes out of one little pot. That's incredible. That's so much better than the yield I'm getting out of the ground. I mean, that's just, you know, you'd have one potato in there in that space. Obviously you've got the compost, but the compost, we have a lot of beds here at home, and they all need mulching every year, and so I've got no problems with using the compost as a mulch, so it's not really an issue for me having the compost cost. So I'm going to get them cleaned up and we'll have a look. So I'm very pleased with that, and it's pretty much decided me now. I'm definitely going to grow potatoes in pots this year. So I'll just go through why, and I'm actually going to grow most of them at home. So reasons why, and the cats is going crazy here. First is yield. The yield is just so much better than I'm getting in the ground. Second, less scab, and I probably could eliminate scab if I was a bit more careful, because when I planted these potatoes I just didn't realise how much you meant to water them in the early phases. It was only later, probably after a couple of months really, that I realised that I wasn't putting anywhere near enough water on. Third thing, I've got plentiful access to water at home, so I can water them you know, as much as they need. In the back garden it's really easy. I've got the hose pipe as a fallback, but I've also got loads of water capture capacity on the garage roof. I'll show you that in a minute. And yeah, it's just convenience as well with watering. You know, this year we basically didn't have any rainwater at all for nearly 3 months, so you know, just watering them by hand on the allotment is just a real pain. And they're always complaining on the allotment that we're using too much water. So yeah, it's just much easier at home. So that's pretty much it. Just, you know, convenience, yield, everything basically. There's no real downsides that I can figure, apart from I just use a bit of garden space. So let's just have a quick look around the garden and see where I'm going to put them. So I'm kind of going to do successions, so I'll do my earlies, but I put them all along this wall here. They don't get in the way, don't really use up any significant room on the patio. They look really nice if you just like green things growing, which I do. So I'm going to grow, you know, most of them just along that wall, but I'm also going to put a whole load down the side of the garage there and then round there, and then right in that corner there I'm going to put a water butt for rainwater capture, and you can see I've got a lot of roof area there to capture water. I don't have a gutter on there, but I could do. And yeah, and obviously it's better to water your potatoes with rainwater, but this year I didn't. I watered them with tap water, so I could have done better, but also I didn't fertilise them. I only put fertiliser in at the beginning of the season. Towards the end of the season they were just going on what fertiliser was in the ground, in the pots. And some people recommend to put a bit of liquid fertiliser in, you know, towards the end of the season, so I could have done that. So all in all, I think I'm just really happy with that prospect. I think it's just going to make life so much easier, and it's going to free up quite a lot of space on the allotment at a kind of critical time. You know, the most productive time, growing through summer. And potatoes, you know, to be honest, they are not a cash crop, really. You know, the main reason we grow them is because it's hard to get good quality organic produce, but I mean, obviously they're cheap to grow, sorry, cheap to buy, yeah, so we can grow things that have got a bit higher value. And since we're in the garden, let's have a quick look around, and then we'll get back to those potatoes and see what the quality is like, because obviously at the end of the day that's what it's all about. First thing, for anybody who's been watching my videos, just look at that lawn. It was just so in such terrible condition for the whole of the summer, but it got a good fertiliser, and we actually had a treatment put on it called Oasis from Green Thumb, which is a wetting agent, and it allows the water to penetrate deeper into the ground, definitely into the root zone. And in our sort of soil, you know, it just wasn't happening. We were getting lots of patches where, you know, it just wasn't working. And I tried things like, you know, washing up liquid and things like that as a wetting agent, but just didn't work as well as this Oasis treatment, which was really fantastic. The rest of the garden's looking pretty good, pretty much like the last tour. Strawberries had their cut back and they're all growing back nice and strong, so I'm pretty pleased with those. All of these strawberries are probably going to be replaced next year from new runners. I'm going to put them back in the same ground, but we do replenish the ground with a good batch of compost every year, and so yeah, they seem to be okay. Blueberries are all doing well. I had to buy some new blueberries because we lost some, but the new ones have all taken, so I'm very pleased with those. Raspberries have all been cut back to new wood. They're all summer fruits. New cherry tree is doing very well. I'm very pleased with that. And I had a bit of a problem with the roof on the shed, so I've had to put a new roof on and new boards around the outside, but that's kind of fixed now. So shard bed's looking good. It's kind of nice to have some shard. In fact, this shard is looking extremely healthy, better than the stuff on the allotment, but it looks like a different variety to me. These are the perpetual kales. So this tree is doing well. It does get battered a little bit in the storms now, but now it's got a big strong post in there. It's doing much better. These I cut right back, and looking at them now, they're really lush. Another month's time we'll be harvesting that. It's a really lovely perpetual kale. Quite a few whitefly on it, as you can probably see. Look, if I move it around a little bit, but whitefly. It's been the curse of this year. Colettes are doing well. They're growing very strongly on here. So we'll soon be eating colettes, and we've got a variety of several different varieties here, and you can see this one is ready for eating, although the cabbage aphid on it. Still, it's not too bad. This outdoor carrot bed is good. Good size of carrots in here. Carrots do grow well in this back garden. I never get any carrot fly. And you know, sometimes I wonder why I bother growing really on the allotment, because it's such a pain to grow carrots there. Carrot fly is just endemic. Everything gets carrot fly, especially at this time of year. Doesn't matter, you know, even if I put covers on it, it still seems to get in. Obviously when you harvest, they do get in there. These golden beets are excellent. Just look at those. I don't really can see, but lovely size those, really lovely. And we've got stacks of those in store, which I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, these are just perfect, absolutely perfect. So many beetroot. We've got some more colettes there. And then these are my winter carrots. And they're all doing very nicely. Really good size on them now. I'll pull one up if I can get it out. Look at that now. Now that is a good carrot. That's really good. Kind of perfect. I might just pop it back in there actually. And that's all going into store soon in the garage. So I'll probably, and maybe somebody could advise me watching this video, but I'll probably cut the tops off, leave them in the compost, and just stack them in the garage, and that'll keep the slugs off them. Yeah, and they should keep well. And I've got some potatoes here, not potatoes, strawberries here. I've got some earlies and I've got some lates, and then I've got these cuttings off the perpetual kale, because you see how big it is. I need some alternatives for the day when it eventually succumbs to the weather. Got some new blueberries here. Let's have a look in the store. So we're in our little storeroom. So we've got some apples here. We've got more apples up here. We've got more apples here. And we've got lots of apples still on the trees. We've got our squash here. And we've got our beetroots in these boxes, and you can see they're all still alive. I do like the fact that they stay alive all year round. They just get enough light to do that. I think it helps them store better, and as a result we just have to keep these wood chips just slightly damp, but only very slightly, and they're just beautiful all year round. Onions, little onions, so these are the onions to be used now, and then we've got more onions, garlic and shallots up there, and then we've got our potatoes in the bags. We can't see anything in there, but trust me, lots of potatoes in these sacks, and we've got another sack full from what I picked today. So when you look at that, 2.5 sacks from a huge area really in the garden on the allotment, and then we've got the ones outside. But let's just quickly have a look in the cupboard. So this is our cupboard full of preserves. Goes back a long way, and it is really nicely stocked up. And I've got more in here and more down there, and that's pretty much it. But it's fantastic to be in this position. We didn't really do preserves before. We've got maybe only 2 or 3 more jars to do, and then that's it. And on a dark windowsill we are ripening off our tomatoes with the aid of some bananas, and as you can see, they are ripening pretty nicely. All these were completely green 4 or 5 days ago when I picked them, and yeah, coming on well. Another banana there. But that is not the end of the tomatoes, because I'm trying to grow some more. We're in the conservatory now, and I've got a nice little crop of tomatoes there. I've even got some peppers from these little orphaned plants that I found. And these have been inside all the time, but as you can see, there's quite a few tomatoes on them, and all I did was just did that with my hand over the flowers. No fancy, dipping brushes in the flowers or anything like that. Just rubbed my hand over them once or twice a day, and that was all I seemed to have to do. So here are the potatoes, and as you can see, what I was saying about a really nice range of sizes, and I wouldn't normally wash them, but they were extremely wet when I picked them out of the compost, so I thought, well, they're wet anyway, so why not wash them, and then we can have a look at the quality. And it's a lovely sunny day today, so they'll get nice and dry too. And just for scale, I just popped a can in there so you can see that we've got a really nice mix of sizes, and we have got some scab, and I put that down to 2 things. One is, I always seem to get scab when I grow Sarpamira. They do seem to be slightly prone to it, but the other thing is I didn't water them enough at the beginning of the season. But having said that, the scab is not bad at all, just little tiny patches on a few of them, so I'm really pleased. I'm not going to be complaining about that scab. And then there's only maybe that one that I can see there that's got any real issues. Yeah, really good, really pleased with that. And so with that, I think I'll sign off, and looking forward to an allotment tour next week. So see you soon.